Oh, hello, and welcome to Basic Folk, where we have honest conversations with folk musicians on the Bluegrass Situation Podcast Network. It's me, Cindy House. Here we are again, perhaps for the very first time. Welcome. If you are a return customer, well, welcome to you as well. Today we have Ana Egge on the podcast. Ana was the very first guest on Basic Folk, if you can believe it or not. Before we get into what we're talking about today, I wanted to talk about our newsletter. We have a once a month email that goes right to your inbox and lets you know what's going on with the podcast. You can sign up for that at the link in the show notes or go to basicfolk.com. You can follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Basic Folk Pod. Follow us. Thanks. You can also support Basic Folk financially by donating $5 or $10 a month or however much you want to contribute. We operate on listener contributions. So thank you so much if you contribute or if you are doing it right now, because I am asking you to. There's a link in the show notes, or you can go to basicfolk.com, make a donation there. Okay. Folk music singer Ana Egge's 13th album, Sharing in the Spirit, came out of the musician one song at a time. She didn't even think about moving on to a new song before the writing and production of each song was complete. Working with her friend and collaborator Lorenzo Wolff, the songwriting process and music production plan was to just work on a handful of songs, singles. Their creative collaboration manifested in an entire record's worth of indie folk, acoustic music, and new folk music. The record includes 8 originals and 2 covers, one by the Biloxi songwriter Ted Hawkins and one by Irish musician Sinead O'Connor. Ana gives a huge songwriting credit to her dreams, which started getting more and more intense when she began her sobriety journey 4 years ago. Since then, she's recorded her dreams, especially those with music segments and full songs, on her Voice Memos app. We go through the new album track by track, addressing themes in the songs like not sleeping through the revolution, the importance of telling the truth, feelings on mortality, and how we're all going to feel when Bob Dylan dies. Like I mentioned, Ana Egge was the very first guest on Basic Folk, and I can't go back and listen. It's a little cringe for me from 4 years ago, but I encourage you to check it out and dive into her great new album, Sharing in the Spirit. We'll listen to clips from the record throughout the interview. Please enjoy Ana Egge, Return to Basic Folk. Ana Egge, this is cool. You are the #1 guest on Basic Folk ever. And it took remember that? It took I'm afraid to go back and listen to it because I probably sound like a child.
I was the first?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Congrats on all these years.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm excited to talk to you again because I'm a huge fan of you and also your music. You are wearing a fantastic shirt with embroidered roses on
you.
them.
Yeah, yellow roses.
Beautiful. All right.
Thank you.
The new record, Sharing in the Spirit, your 13th album is what I read. You made this record with your longtime friend, Lorenzo Wolff, and of your friendship, you say, we really have such a playful kid energy, and he uses the word fun as much as I do. Awesome. And a lot of these songs and a lot of what you're writing about is pretty serious, but how does having a producing partner with a similar lighthearted vibe, what does that do for the music? Like, how do you marry the serious with the playful?
Well, I guess it's interesting. That's a good question. It's very much a kind of dance, because the intention of with writing is, I give a lot of energy to the work and take it seriously, but at the same time, there's a sense of it being not me. The work isn't me. And so me making the work gets to have fun making the serious work. Does that make sense? I get to enjoy making something that I take seriously as a thing separate from myself. Something that I want to stand and, alone, that has merit of its own right. And my experience of that can be enjoyable and fun, in that the making that work, especially in the moment of recording it, I think that comes across when you can hear, like, for example, when you can hear someone clearly smiling when they're singing sometimes. You can hear that energy of oh my God, this is so cool. Like, there, and I don't know, maybe it's not as well, maybe it doesn't come across in the ways that it does always for Lorenzo and I, but when we hear certain parts, we're like, oh my God, I love that part.
Yeah, the kind of the geeking out. Well,
yeah, I mean, if that comes across for other people, then, bonus. But when we were making it, we had those experiences, and that they're lasting sometimes when I hear bits. It's such a gift. I don't know.
This record surprised you. Like, you had been working on single songs together with Lorenzo, but the songs, they just kept coming and coming, and you were actually like trying to take it easy. What made you want to just focus on singles, and what was it like when you both realized that an album was trying to pop out?
Well, it's been a long time making music and being in this quote unquote business of music. So I've been in the slipstream and riding waves of and getting beached as by many different things in this industry. And for a while now, it definitely has seemed much more like singles and playlists are how music is heard and how it reaches people, including myself. I often will hear one song by an artist, and if I really like it, then I'll go listen to more songs. And then if I really like it, I'll listen to the whole album, So I guess it was just kind of accepting that that's the predominant way that music is heard and found by new listeners. And I've had a few songs that I wrote and put out as singles, and that went well. Like my song "We Are One," that is still like my biggest song. That was a single and isn't available on a physical album for purchase. And I've put out a handful of other singles similarly. That I did because I wrote them and I wanted to put them out immediately. I didn't want to wait. And that's an incredible thing that we can do that, I guess, it's always been a little bit of it's been a possibility, but it's very, very prevalent now and easy to do that. But yeah, how did it all of a sudden become an album?
Or what was it like when you realized, like, oh, we're making an album? Look at us.
Yeah. I feel like I'm narrating back, and so I'm kind of creating a story for you right now.
This better be a good story, Anna. Or the interview is over.
Well, there was a rainbow, and it wasn't a pot of gold, but it was a big gay me at the end of that rainbow. No, I think it was really just a realization that these songs were connecting, and that I was writing so many that they were kind of a part of a family, and that they did they did all want to be in the same house and, kind of held together and represented that way. And yeah, that I had enough songs that I really wanted to have them on an album.
Great. Good story.
Yeah. I forgot the wolf part and the dagger.
The hero's journey, really.
Yeah.
Is what this album is about. So I also heard that you wrote and recorded each song before moving on even to like thinking about the next one, which I've never heard anybody make an album like that. But how did that process impact your connection with these songs versus previous releases?
Well, I guess, because that was the practice that I was in with working with Lorenzo. And that's kind of how and why we did these singles that I was speaking of. I'd write a song, be super moved by it and excited, and then I'd send him a demo. We'd figure out a date, go in and record it, and finish it and put it out. And so that energy kept going with these songs. But then, like I said, it kept happening, and all of a sudden we kind of were talking like, wait, we have like 7, and all of a sudden wait a second, what are we doing? And so I think the short answer is that there's a lot of energy behind each song, and each song really has its own weight and kind of takes up its own space in a different way slightly, maybe than other albums.
One of your main co-writers on the album were your dreams. Whoa, trippy. What has been your experience with dreaming throughout your life? Like, when have you dreamed the most vivid? How did your dreams differ while writing this album? And how did you keep track of details and inspirations?
So many questions, Cindy. Where do I start with all those dream questions?
Wherever you want.
Well, I've had lots of dreams over the years that were different kinds of dreams. Ones that were like obviously message dreams or psychic dreams, and then that thing would happen. Or dreams that were, pay attention kind of dreams. Yeah, I guess message dreams is the way I'd think about it. And throughout my life, here or there would be one that was very seismic. Take note, write it down, and then, wow, that kind of thing. And other than that, mostly like, dreams that are fun or not, that I don't remember, that I do. And then around, I don't remember if it was the exact same time, but when I stopped smoking pot and drinking, like 4.5 years ago, I started to have a lot of really intense dreams. And I think that might be a fairly regular thing for people when they have big shifts in different things that, like changing in their body like that. And so I don't remember if it was the same time as that or if it was a little bit after that I was reading this book about these different dream practices that basically you write your dream in the morning and you consider, if I am everyone in my dream, then I am that person in my dream that did that, and I am this person in my dream that did that, and then I am the me in my dream that experienced this. And that was a really fascinating exercise because of the act of writing, inhabiting that dream again, and all of the different personalities in the dream. It deflates the kind of me and them, and that happened to me, and that person did that. I mean, it's all me. It's all my psyche. It's all my dream. But it's one thing to think that and know that, but then in the writing, there were these really big realizations that I wouldn't have pieced together without doing that practice. And so I did it for a long, long time. And I worked to not let myself avoid the dreams that were really hard, like the bad dreams, like the murder or rape or horrible dreams, scary dreams. I made myself write and identify with all those people in my dreams. And it was really amazing to work through that stuff. And at some point and this started on the record, my previous record, Between Us, it started that I would become aware in my dreams that I was hearing music. And I was aware enough to wake myself up. Or I was aware enough in my dream to realize that I was hearing music and that I was dreaming. And then I woke myself up. And then I would hum into my phone in the middle of the night. And so that now, I have so many voice notes, and some of them are mumbling.
Release the tapes.
Some are nearly exactly finished, like melody and words of a whole chorus of songs on any record. And, so it's just, it has been an incredible new step, because I don't even know what it is there. Sometimes even when I'm waking up to hum the thing, still half asleep in the dark, I start humming it and I'm like, no, that's not what it is. Like, that's not what I'm hearing in my dream, what comes out of my mouth. And I have to go back and then hum it again. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm hearing, with parentheses. It's weird. It's so interesting. And then I often totally forget. Next day, maybe the day after that, oh right, I heard something in my dream, and I go back in my voice notes and I listen to it. So it is so interesting because there's such a remove that I'm able to hear it fresh and consider, do I like that?
Right.
Well, first, the honest answer is I know right away if I like it. I know right away if it's something interesting or not. And it's really fun. Again, there's that word. Fun.
Does this practice wake up your wife?
No, I really do my best. They're very quiet. And often I'll tiptoe out of the room.
Funny.
But they're often the very middle of the night. But then also sometimes it'll be when I'm just falling asleep. And sometimes more and more now, I'm aware that words that I'm hearing in my dream are actually a melody, the way the quote-unquote person in my dream, me, but saying things in my dream are a melody. And then I'll hear that and I'll wake up and I'll sing that into my phone.
Amazing.
It's so interesting. Yeah. I mean,
could you teach this would be a good songwriting class that you could teach how to write songs in your dreams. I bet, let's call up Chicago Old Town School of Folk Music or El Pasim. Let's get Ana Egge to teach.
Right. I'm going to need 20 mattresses.
Chamomile tea at the ready.
Yeah.
I won't sleep through the revolution. I won't sleep through the revolution. I won't sleep through the revolution. No, I won't sleep. Change is gonna come. I won't sleep. I won't sleep, Lord. I won't sleep. I won't sleep, Lord. I won't sleep. Meet me here for the revolution. Meet me here for the revolution. Meet me here for the revolution. Oh, meet me here. Change is gonna come.
This is funny that we're just talking about dreams, and the first track on your record is called Don't You Sleep, except if you're co-writing with your dreams, I guess. But the first song on the album is Don't You Sleep. You wanted the album's introduction to honor everyone who has worked and still works towards justice, peace, and respectability. So Don't You Sleep through the revolution. As a gay woman, that work is personal to you. It's personal to me as well. How have you worked to not sleep through the revolution?
All that stuff you just read sounds so lofty. Oh my God. that's so interesting about, don't sleep and the dreaming and all that. Well, staying engaged and being present and, being open to the moment all the time, that's constant work, I feel like, and there's so much to learn about everything, it seems, these days. I think part of my work lately has been not to be overwhelmed by all the things that are constantly coming at oneself, that we're supposed to find out about and figure out and hurry up and learn all about the history of here or there. And, I've been really working on being in the moment and examining stuff that comes up for me so that I can be less reactive and more present with people, more accepting and listening to other people who are not necessarily like me, quote unquote, people with a life experience that doesn't match mine, someone with darker skin, someone with a disability, learning about what their life is like so that I can, broaden my perspective and be more present, assuming less about who people are and what they need.
Is someone sending this song to Mavis Staples?
That is such a good question, Cindy.
Can you imagine?
My wife edited that frickin' movie about her. These are the reasons why I need a manager like you or somebody. Literally, Amy edited that movie, Mavis, ! And I never even thought of trying to reach her with this. Thank you. I will.
I just thought it would be perfect. Even like she doesn't have to change anything. I mean, you could sing with her on the song.
Yeah. Well, this song is it's like, well, I've been a member of this Unitarian Universalist congregation for a while here in Brooklyn, and my friends there wrote this song with me and sing on it with me. So it's like members of the choir. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's like, it's inspired by a Martin Luther King Jr. speech, and I wanted to make a pro-woke song. Like all my blabbing just a moment ago about being present and being in the moment, and how on earth do you make being awake a negative thing? It baffles the mind. Like being present and I mean, especially from every spiritual or theological tradition worldwide, like the spirit, like being awake, being aware, like that's the whole point. And including being in sleep and being aware in your dreams and being, conscious while your body is sleeping. Like, yeah. So this is really also that. Like, this is my attempt to make a pro-woke song.
Don't you sleep.
Without using the word woke. Don't you sleep. Don't miss it. This is the time right now. Like, every time people live through is crazy, and this one is no different, but
right.
Don't miss it. You're alive.
All the things that went bad, the things that you can't see, all the reasons for the door you can't close behind me. The truth has been given some oxygen by me. I needed to speak for the ones that I love who've been hurting. That door won't close no more. I left it so your friends can see what's going on. That door won't close. I left it so that door won't close no more.
The next song is Door Won't Close. This is about confronting an abuser and the broken relationships that followed. So this is a quote from you. Telling a very hard truth cost me a very dear relationship, but the truth isn't concerned with comfort. And I think as more people stand up and speak out against abuse, that gives other people more strength to do the same. Can you talk about how the truth is still worth it, even though it is bittersweet?
I think, yeah, I maybe the whole truth is everyone's perspective. You know, if we all have our own experience of a moment and it's all slightly different than the person next to us. In this world that we live in, this country, this time now that is so, where the people that still hold the power mostly are white men, in so many more ways than we're all aware of. Those are often the predominant truths, quote unquote, that are told and that are heard and that are held and believed. And even if you're not a white man, this kind of way of accepting and promoting and believing those truths are so prevalent and not questioned. And so it's so important for those of us who are not that to speak our truth. If we don't, we're not airing our own, our own beauty and sorrow. And if we do, even if it's so painful and we lose, we're still being somewhat of a light in the darkness for those who can't speak, I mean, I have a microphone for my job. Like, that's the thing. That's the prerequisite for my job. I get up on a stage and I'm like, where's my microphone? It's right here. Wow, I have an opportunity to say a lot, right? Same with my songs, clearly. So anyway, yeah, in ways that are obvious and maybe not so blaring, people being themselves, telling hard truths. Throughout my life, they've been beacons of hope for me.
If it were up to me, you'd measure a man by the friends he leaves behind. How they smile when he comes to mind. Man, I bet they stop you in the street. If it were up to me, the ones who've gone would meet him at the door. Two dogs sleeping on the floor. His favorite record's playing on repeat. If it were up to me,
The next song, If It Were Up to Me. So you and Lorenzo, who produced the record, co-wrote this song. He originally wrote it while his friend's father was dying. When you first heard his demo, what did you hear in that song that made you want to work with him on it? And then this is a 2-part question. Is that all right? 2 questions at once? Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do you hear in that song now?
Well, yeah, he shyly brought up this because he's not, I don't think he would say that he thinks of himself as a songwriter. He's made tons of records with lots of different people, but that's not his wheelhouse. But so he kind of brought up at the end of a session one day, I've been writing this song and I don't know if you'd be interested in working on it with me. And I said, oh, I'd love to hear it, And so one of his neighbors and closest friends growing up, father passed away. And so therefore that father was really instrumental in Lorenzo's life also. And he was kind of a very successful and kind of famous person. So he also kind of held this place of influence beyond. And he played the beginnings of it for me, and I loved it so much. I thought it was so specific and vulnerable, and it really got to this kind of tender sadness of losing someone and working in 2 directions at once, missing them but wanting to honor them now that they're gone, and having to take over, and be the next generation with strength. Yeah, I immediately was like, oh man, I can't wait to work on this with you. And now, what does that song mean? I mean, I couldn't sing it at a show recently because I got so choked up because my wife's father just passed away. Grenville, and he was such a great guy. I've known him for 20 plus years, and he was our daughter's granddad, and he was so supportive and such a big presence in our lives, and he was a huge fan of my music, came out to every show near where they lived, and he was just great. So I think about him when I sing this song now.
Sorry to hear that, Anna. Sorry that he died.
Thank you.
I feel the death of sorrow. I'm yours, whether you want me or not. My reputation for danger, and my body breaking apart. Drunk on the Bowery, fire at my feet. My body's a temple, your hammer is striking. Mission bells moan, mission bells moan, mission bells moaning inside me. My God, your naked body, the side of your breast as you turn to me. For you, my eyes are holy. For you, forever my love will be. Drunk on the Bowery, fire at my feet. My body's a temple, your hammer is striking. Mission bells moan, mission bells moan, mission bells moaning inside me.
The next song I want to talk about is Mission Bells Moan. And this song, so we're feeling pretty sad now, so let's stay there. This song is about a low point for you. You wrote it's about being blackout drunk in the Bowery and hearing Amy, who's your wife, calling your name. So 2 questions. Again, sorry, it's my reputation. 2 questions in one. How is this a love song? And how did this song help you process that low point?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. I think one of my secrets for songwriting is to mine moments of like intense charge in my past, and so to sit and think, what was a very intense experience that I haven't explored? And I realized that this moment was an intense and bad experience, an embarrassing, shameful experience and I'm like, oh gosh, I wonder why I haven't written about it, So then I realized that I have to, now is the time to write about it. And so that's, and it, there's often like treasure buried there if you're willing to take the risk. And then what was the first question again? How is it a love song?
Yes, you got it.
Well, it's a love song in I think two ways that are one. Divine love and the reason for living. This thing that is calling within us to be here at all, to be breathing and be alive. That is love for me. And it's not letting me alone. You're not done yet kind of thing. There's still love coming through you. And the voice that brought me back to remembering that was my wife's voice, my lover's voice at that time, saying my name. And it's through her that so much of that love is apparent to me in this life. Through her voice, through her eyes, through her body, through the connection that we have together. I'm extremely fortunate that I found this person that I feel that connection to, the beyond with. And it does feel holy, and
Be Still My Beating Heart. That's so lovely. I like it.
Good morning, my darling, I'm telling you this to let you know that I'm sorry you're sick. Tears of sorrow won't do you no good. I'd be a doctor if only I could. What do you want from the liquor store? Something sour or something sweet? Ain't you had all of the pain you can hold? You know the bottle don't love you no more. I'd swim the ocean or the deepest canal to get to you, darling, just to make you well. There's no place on earth I wouldn't hasten to go to cool the fever. This I want you to know. What do you want from the liquor store? Something sour or something sweet? Ain't you had all of the pain you can hold? You know the bottle don't love you no more. If only the doctor would hurry and show. There's quite a few places I know we could go. I was okay, but these words from you saying you're sick made me sick too. What do you want from the liquor store? Something sour, something sweet? Ain't you had all of the pain you can hold? You know the bottle don't love you no more.
Sorry You're Sick. This is a Ted Hawkins song about the frustration of not being able to help an alcoholic loved one or friend. Interesting to put this right after Mission Bells Moan. Okay, another comment about this song. The harmonies in the what do you want at the liquor store? Fucking crazy. They're
so cool.
I feel like I'm about to like lose my it just feels like my brain is like unhinging when I hear it.
Yeah, that's Kiana and Tyrone, my friends from choir.
Yeah.
They're incredible. And they're both amazing singers. I mean, they sing on Broadway and they lead choirs and they're just like on ads in the Super Bowl. I mean, they're both like incredible singers. Yeah, they're so good.
In this song, you are singing to a friend who's fallen off the wagon. So how do you think your own experience with alcohol and the like informs your approach to this song?
Well, it's, it's easy when you're kind of struggling with something and to see everything else as a problem as opposed to the main point, the main thing that is the issue. Maybe, is that the right word? Easy. But that was my experience, was thinking, oh, well, I got to deal with this other thing or this other thing. But no, it's actually the drinking that once I stopped that, I was like, oh, guess what else isn't a problem? Nothing. So this song, when I heard the Ted Hawkins version, I kept thinking he was going to say that. Like the first time I heard it, I was listening thinking, oh, he's saying, sorry you're sick, what do you want from the liquor store? I thought he was going to say eventually, we probably shouldn't go to the liquor store because that's kind of what's making you sick. But he didn't, and I realized, oh, he was just saying, you're going to get better, life is still for living, we're going to go have fun together, right?
Was he like, I'm not here for a long time, I'm here for a good time type of message?
Yeah, it's like that. So I rewrote the words. I rewrote the chorus and the last verse to say what I needed it to say. And I got permission to do this, by the way. But like this, I thought, this is an incredible opportunity to be super direct. Like, the bottle does not love you anymore. This is why you're sick. Stop. Yeah. And my friend has fallen off the wagon again. So many months of sober and then now. But this is the way it is sometimes. So
not linear. Yeah.
No. And everyone has their different things that they're struggling with, Like, before this call, I locked my phone up in this dang lockbox because I was like, I'm on my phone all the time. So I locked it up. It's always something,
The devil is real, I guess. Whatever.
Your name a drink divine, your name calling in the wind, your name is stand a tree, your name the least of these, your name on loyal ground, your name where berries grow. Your name in the water, your name built the ark, child waiting for his father, outstanding in the road, your name on loyal ground, your name where berries grow.
Okay, this next song is written in code. It's called Where Berries Grow. And you say, the meaning of the names of many of my best friends throughout my life. This song carries our love and friendship. So this is so sweet. And even I feel like it's even more meaningful than if you like actually named names. I don't know if you agree or not, but why do you think using code makes it like even more meaningful and more sweet?
Well, because we like things to be, we don't like the direct thing, especially in art in general. I think it's more fun for people to figure it out themselves and to have it be a little bit more open to emotional interpretation. But also, I didn't necessarily mean it this way. This is how I found the song, was exploring these, again, a dream, and then waking up with this idea that curiosity about the meanings of people's names, and looking up the definitions of the meaning of names and working from there, and then the kind of personal poetic meanings of friends' names. And then there was the song. And people are earth and air and fire and water. People are spirit and dirt and divine drinks. Like it was. I just love this song. I love how it came out, and I didn't expect it at all. And I thought, is this too simple? Is this your name, saying your name over and over and over again? Is this just? But those often are my favorite songs. The ones that I'm done, and I know it's done, but then I wonder, is this too simple?
No, I like it. I agree.
Thank you. Yeah, there's something special about that.
Crucifix for a keychain, pipe wrench for a thumb, a hammer for an answer, and mercy for a gun. Mix up some medicine, there's no clown for the show. In the corner the boxer will lay your body low. Some sin was broken, being born within you, blowing through the world and the buttons of our coats. Some sin is broken, being born without you. Children of the sand, seashells in our hands. We hold these crystal waters up to the sad-eyed lady, up to the palace of mirrors, up to the ending we need. You're winning the argument and losing the fight. You know the darkness is drawn to the light. Suffer the struggle and welcome the night. You know the hallelujah is on the other side. Some sin is broken, being born within you, blowing through the world and the buttons of our coats. Some sin is broken, being born without you. Children of the sand, seashells in our hands. We hold these crystal waters up to the sad-eyed lady, up to the palace of mirrors.
This next song is a terrible nightmare. It's called Ending We Need. It was co-written with Mick Flannery and inspired by a dream. So this song is a tribute to Bob Dylan, who in the dream had just died. And this is a day we are all dreading. So Anna, what was it like in the dream when Bob died? And what is the ending we need? Is it that Bob Dylan lives forever and never dies?
Well, he is forever young. We know this. I mean, yeah, we dread that day, and in the dream, it had been processed slightly. It was like, oh right, well we know John died. Maybe it wasn't brand new news, breaking news. But I was with a friend at a small cafe, and there was a guy singing on the floor, like just without a stage with a mic. And I was talking to my friend at the table, and then I started to really kind of hear the words that the guy was singing, and I realized, oh, he's singing a song about Dylan. Oh, I think I've never heard this song before. This is actually pretty good. Well, actually, this is a good song. You're dreaming. You're dreaming. This is your song. Wake up, wake up. And I woke up and I hummed into my phone, and so then the rest of the story goes. The song is wild. It's really interesting. It references a bunch of Dylan songs. It slightly feels like you're in that Bardo state a little bit of, am I awake? Am I asleep? But for me, it is this acceptance of the fact that death is actually necessary. It's an ending we need. It sounds like torture to live forever in a body. Like there's something to welcome about death, and that it isn't horrible and doesn't have to be. That there is more beyond that. Anyway, I don't know if all that comes through, but that was for me kind of more what was happening with the song.
Interesting. It does also have, I thought, like I caught the Dylan references, and that was really cool. And then the Dylan type of delivery was like very like Desire-esque. Maybe I'm thinking because you referenced
my favorite record.
Oh, great! What do I win? Tell her what she's won.
Yeah, that's my favorite Dylan record. Yeah. You're going to be in the record, in the credits when Mavis records my song. Thanks to, the connector.
This is the last day of our acquaintance. I will meet you later in somebody's office. I'll talk, but you won't listen to me. I know what your answer will be. I know you don't love me anymore. You used to hold my hand when the plane took off. 2 years ago, that just seemed so much more. And I don't know what happened to our love. Days and days our friendship has been stale. And we will meet later to finalize the details. 2 years ago, the seed was planted. Since then, you have taken me for granted. This is the last day of our acquaintance.
You end the album with a Sinead O'Connor song, Last Day of Our Acquaintance, a vulnerable ballad of a friendship dissolving. And you said, I sing this song to the same person I sing Door Won't Close to, which is the abuser. It's so I heard that song. I think you released it as a single earlier this year. So beautiful. And on this album, I feel like there's a new meaning to it, especially knowing that you're singing to an abuser. It's a very like cathartic and very cool way to end the record like this. And like, there is that moment in the song where the drums, which you are playing, debut drumming from Ana Egge. So the drums kick in and it kind of shifts the mood. It's not anything like AC/DC or anything like that, but there is a change in the tone of the song. Your little come in. And I just talked to Kaya Cater on her new record, Strange Medicine. She's addressing healing through anger. And this song is sad, but it's also like kind of biting with lines like, you have taken me for granted. I'll talk, but you won't listen. So for you, like, what's it like to end the album like this? And like, how did you approach anger in this song?
Yeah. The realization that you've been in a bad relationship with someone, you know, there's a lot of complex emotions that the anger for me wasn't only at them, it was at myself also. You know, like how did I put up with that? You know, what's wrong with me? Also mad at me, myself too, but very, yeah. So it's not only at the other. It's kind of a overall, just like, I'm fucking done with this whole situation, you know? And in that kind of acceptance of being like completely over it, like there's just like, you just want to break shit because you just want to move on, you know? And it's hard to acknowledge, it's hard to acknowledge that you've allowed, you know, that stuff to happen in a way. And that's what's so difficult about healing and moving on is accepting your own place in things. You know, it's easy to blame others, and everyone has their own responsibility and their own place. And of course, there are people do bad things, whether they mean to or not. And then sometimes we stay or allow things to happen, and then we have to deal with that ourselves also, right? And then there's the ability or the potential for moving through it and accepting responsibility and acknowledging and trying to repair with others. I sound like my therapist right now, but
great. I'm glad we got there.
Words.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, the being able to sing a song like that and have it be really personal, like that was the first step for actually being able to have that song be real for me. You know, to being able to really inhabit it. I've always loved that song. I've always loved that whole album. But then I was singing along it in the car, and actually my wife was like, "Wow, I think I see who you could be singing this song."
Amy knows. Smart lady.
You're right. Yeah. Behind every great woman is another great woman. And behind that great woman is another great woman. And on and on and on.
Amazing.
Yeah. And Sinead. What an inspiration on so many levels. Like, talk about a truth teller who took it for the team over and over and over again and was not hindered. And she was right, and she didn't fucking care. I mean, she was tortured by so many of those things and people who wanted to ruin her life. But she did so much incredible work for the world while she was here. Yes. And incredible art.
All the way to the end. Really good. Amazing art. Anna, before I let you go, oh wait, do you want to say one more thing about Sinead O'Connor?
I was just gonna say when I sang Lilith Fair, I sang with her. In Dallas, and she was just so intense. Like I was so in awe of her, and she was backstage in a small room. We were all waiting to go on for the encore, and she was sitting there with her like lunchbox that had a Krishna, super bright, colorful Krishna lunchbox on her lap, and she was like in full like nun's regalia with a huge crucifix and shaved head, and just with this bright colored Krishna. And I also loved like the multi, religious expression there in that moment. But she was just, I don't know how to do, it's like two words come to mind: intensely serene. Like she was completely composed, and she was giving off a like intense, like, don't even think about it. Like no one bothered her. No one sat on the couch with her. No one approached her. You know what I mean? Like she was just completely focused, sitting there waiting for the moment, and then got up and we all went on stage. And her voice was just like took up the whole arena, Just such an incredible presence, I guess.
Amazing memory.
Yeah. Sometimes getting to be around people like that is pretty special. Yeah. Thank you, Sinead.
All right, let's do the lightning round.
Oh gosh, okay, here we go.
All right. Ana Egge, what is the best thing about being from a small town?
How many words do we get to answer these questions?
15. It's generous.
I had to and was able to figure out what I liked to do for myself without much distraction.
What is your favorite current fashion trend?
I do not know about fashion trends for my suits.
Okay. What about in particular? What is a good suit?
Well, this has been a dream since I was little. I always wanted to have suits, and I would, I grew up really poor, and we'd go to Salvation Army, and I'd try on all these suits that would never fit, of course. So having a bespoke suit, having a suit made for your body, and that there are these great inclusive tailors now, genderqueer and non-binary, all-inclusive tailors where you can go and be completely welcomed and supported.
You and Erin McKeown should do a fashion show, a folk fashion show. Suits. And Tatiana Hargraves.
Yeah, I just am so.
All right, I'll set that up right after I get Mavis on the phone.
Let's do it.
All right, Ana Egge, who is your ideal singing partner?
I love singing with Rose Cousins.
Okay, what is your best mom hack?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I just don't know.
What's the best one?
Mom hack. I guess, right now for snacks, the bean and cheese quesadilla. Oh, that sounds so boring, but it's true. It's like almost any time she says no to anything else, and then I say quesadilla, she'll be like, okay.
All right, this is,
that is not exciting.
Yeah.
But it's honest.
Isn't that what being a mom is? Being a parent is?
Yeah, in a week it's going to be something else.
Okay, this is the last one. What is your ideal dream?
That we all become more empathic and compassionate.
That's a good one.
And so we're incapable of being hateful and greedy. And the world heals in ways unforeseen.
Beautiful. Ana Egge, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about your new record, Sharing in the Spirit. You were a wonderful guest. Everyone loved it.
Thank you, Cindy. You're a wonderful host.
Yeah, good to see you too.
So good to see you.
This episode of Basic Folk was produced by Anthony Cabrera. Our music composed by Alex Stanton. Basic Folk is on the Bluegrass Situation Podcast Network. You can find all of our episodes there, wherever you get podcasts. You can find us on Folk Alley's mobile app or folkalley.com. Search for Basic Folk on the SiriusXM app, or you can go to our website, basicfolk.com. If you enjoyed this episode, maybe you should send it to your friend who grew up in a ghost town, or what is now a ghost town, much like Ana Egge, whose town in North Dakota has a population currently of about 8 people. It might be somewhere between 8 and 13 people live in Ana Egge's hometown, but it is a certified ghost town. So if you have any ghost town friends, send them this episode of Ana Egge, and maybe go send them the first episode of Ana Egge, because we really dig into her hometown. Okay, thanks for listening all the way to the end. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.